Hello, Pat. Come on,
Sounds like what
you can sit wherever you like, wherever makes you feel comfortable.
I'm a teacher.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Did you find a place okay today?
Yeah.
Everything was alright?
Mm-hmm.
How are you today?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, again, my name is Brittany, and I want to thank you for coming. In the next 30 to 45 minutes, I just want to take this time and try to get to know you a little bit better, and then to actually see what actually brought you in today. So, do you mind if I take notes today?
No.
Okay. Also, I want to go over the confidentiality policy. This is basically informing you of what the therapy session will involve, and it also highlights that anything that we talk about will be, it'll stay between just me and you. And if you have any other questions after you read over that, just feel free to let me know. And do you need a pen? Thank you. Did you have any questions? Alright, so let's get started. What brings you in today?
I don't know. I've been very anxious about a lot of things.
Anxious. That's a good word to describe a feeling. So what things are you becoming anxious about?
A lot of things.
A lot of things. How long has this anxiety been going on for?
A while. It got worse over the last 6 years, though.
And what brings you a lot of anxiety? Like, what do you feel brings this about right now at this time?
There's a few things.
A few things?
Mm-hmm.
Would you care to disclose a little bit more?
Well, germs is definitely one. I don't like germs. It kind of started with funerals. I don't like funerals.
And what makes you uncomfortable about the funerals?
Germs. I feel like if people go to funerals, they will make germs come from them, and anyone who's been to there is contaminated.
Alright. Well, Pat, I just want to be able to, again, get to know you a little bit better today. So I'm going to start off asking a few questions. Anything that you feel uncomfortable about talking about, you can just feel free to stop me or pause me or just say, hey, I'm not comfortable with talking about that. And that's okay, okay? So I just want to get a little background. Have you had any history of illnesses or mental disorders? What about family?
Not that I know of, although my dad and my sister did have panic attacks.
Panic attacks, okay. And about how long were these panic attacks going on?
I don't know.
All right. Have you ever experienced any type of panic attacks? Okay. And have you ever been hospitalized for anything?
I was referred to a mental health facility.
And how long were you in the mental health facility? How long? Do you remember why you were referred?
Mostly because of my anxiety and my fear of germs and contamination.
Okay. Any other fears or anything that...
Snakes.
Snakes? Do they affect like any social life or your work life?
Snakes?
No, just snakes. Also the anxiety that you've been saying you've been experiencing, as well as the germs. Like, do they carry on to your social life or your work life?
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
So what happens when you're exposed to these germs or anything like that when you're at work?
I actually quit my job.
Quit your job?
Mm-hmm.
How long ago was that?
2 years after I got out of my mental health facility.
Okay. And have you found work outside of that?
No, because I don't like coming in contact with people.
No contact with people. So do you, are you close with your parents, other family members, siblings? How are those relationships though?
Fine, I guess.
Now, do these germs, I know they make you feel very uncomfortable and very anxious. Do they make you want to do other things, like commit suicide, or do they make you depressed thinking about it? Are you losing sleep?
Yeah, loss of fatigue.
And you say no suicidal thoughts?
No, never had. Just, I felt down, but never that.
Okay. How's your home life going? Like, are you living alone?
No. I'm married.
Married?
Mm-hmm.
So how does your husband or wife, do you mind? Husband or wife?
No, it's husband.
Husband?
Mm-hmm.
How's your home life? Like, how does your husband deal with the
He's
anxiety?
very supportive.
Very supportive?
Yeah. I mean, he gets frustrated sometimes, but he's very supportive.
Okay. And does he have, like, some of the same anxiety
No.
about the germs?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to ask a little bit about your past medical history. Again, I know you touched on being in the mental health care for the anxiety. Now, has it gotten better? Or has it
No.
picked up?
Yeah.
Were you on any medication to help?
No.
So tell me a little bit more about the germs. What exactly about the germs make you anxious?
Anyone can come into contact with funerals. I don't like the germs that come from funerals.
And why just funerals? It's not any other places?
I just don't like
kinda
germs in
trigger it?
general, but it's mostly funerals. I mean, anyone can come in contact with funerals. They could have been at a funeral home. They could have shaken hands with somebody that was there. I don't like it.
Does the fear of being around death and germs kind of trigger the anxiety?
I don't know. It's funerals.
seen that when you came in, you were very involved, and I thank you. I know we need to tighten you up a little bit here. What triggered you to?
Oh, I don't touch anything that could have come into contact with people who've been to funerals, germs from funerals.
Okay. We're going to move on to the next part. And the next part of the interview is basically the mental health exam. We're going to pretty much go over this, and then we're going to come back more into the presenting problem, if that's okay with you. Mm-hmm. Alright, so I'm going to ask a series of questions again, and thank you so much for being so cooperative with that first part. Just answer them the best you can. Alright, so what is today's date?
The 17th.
And what's today's year?
For 2014.
What is the month?
November.
And what day is today?
Monday.
Can you also tell me what season it is?
Fall.
Can you also tell me the name of this hospital and clinic?
I'm a Pfeiffer.
What floor are we on?
The first one.
What city are we in?
Charlotte.
What county are we in?
Mecklenburg.
What state are we in?
North Carolina.
You did great. I'm going to ask for you to repeat a few words after me. Just want to see, testing a few things out. Ball, flag, and tree.
Ball, flag, tree.
Great. This gets a little tricky for me as well. I want to ask you to count backwards. However, count backwards in sevens.
From when?
From 100. And you can use anything that you need to use except for a paper and a pen. And just take your time.
Six. 79. 72. 65.
All right, that was more than enough, and you did great. Now I would just ask to spell the word world backwards.
D L R O W.
Fantastic. Now those three words that I had you repeat after me a few questions ago, do you mind repeating those same three words?
Ball. Tree. I can't remember the third one.
Okay. Now this is more of like a naming thing, just to see visually where you stand. What is this? And I ask that you repeat these 3 words after me. Actually, it's 4. No ifs, ands, or buts.
No ifs, ands, or buts.
Good, good. Now I just ask for this next part, I'm going to take a piece of paper, and I just need you to fold it in half and place it on the floor. Okay. Very good, thank you. Now I'm going to hold up a sheet of paper, and I just need you to read what it says and also do what it says.
Close your eyes.
Very good, thank you. The next thing I need for you to do is just write a sentence. It could be any sentence, as long as it just maintains a subject and a verb. Very good. Now I just need you to pretty much copy these 2 items on this page exactly how they are. Very good. Drawing looks better than mine did. Right. So we are done with this part of the interview. And I just want to pick back up to where we left off. I want to go over the anxiety, just want to make sure that I didn't miss anything. I heard you say that you had a fear of germs, especially from funerals. Is that correct?
I don't like funerals.
Don't like funerals at all. Now, is there something in your past that kind of takes you back to your past when you go to funerals?
I don't think so.
What is your take on life and death? And I heard you say that you experience loss of fatigue a lot, dealing with the germs and the anxiety from the germs. What about your appetite? Has your appetite changed at all?
Yeah, I'm not really hungry.
How does it feel for you to be able to take control and try to get rid of the germs? Like, for example, the hand sanitizer or the wipes. How does that make you feel when you're able to? Better? Now, do you have any children at home?
Yes, 2. I have 2.
And how old do you are?
20 and 22.
20 and 22. Boys or girls? And how is your home life? How do you like having your children or your husband at home?
Fine.
Right. What family activities do you all partake in?
None.
Not a lot. Is there something that you do in your leisure time to help calm your nerves sometimes about the germs?
No, because if I ignore the germs, then it gets worse.
If you ignore the germs? And explain to me, why would you think it would get worse if you would ignore the germs?
Because they're everywhere. I mean, who knows who's coming to the house, or who's been to funerals, or maybe they've met somebody who happened to go to a funeral home, or something.
It makes you a little anxious just thinking about it, huh? So, how does as far as you doing like chores, household things?
I wash my own dishes and eat my own food. I have containers for my food, and the rest of the family has theirs, and we never ever wash dishes together. I wash my own.
So what if your husband wants to take you out or cook dinner for you? Do you allow that sometimes?
No. We know he's very supportive of me having my own.
Absolutely. And what about your children? They must have been difficult for you when they were growing up.
No.
You had to get ready and feed them and.
No, they're fine. They're fine. They know that we do their meals separate from mine.
And what about when they were growing up? How did you? Same way. Do you find that doing these things help ease you as far as your anxiety and calms you down?
Well, I know I'm cleaning the germs, especially off of the dishes.
So what are your favorite cleaning products?
I like hand sanitizer.
Hand sanitizer. And what makes that your favorite?
It kills 99.9% of germs.
And do you like to do your own grocery shopping?
I do it sometimes. My husband does it sometimes, and he buys me my separate stuff, but he's very supportive of me going to get my own separate food, so that there's no contamination.
I just want to make sure that you're comfortable. Are you comfortable right now?
Yeah.
And I do want to get into your growing up, like you as a child. How did this affect you in your childhood, as far as going to school or interacting with other kids?
It's mostly gotten severe over the last six years after I was in the mental health hospital. But before that, it wasn't as bad.
Wasn't as bad? Mm-hmm. But you still were experiencing some type of...
Maybe a little bit, I can't remember.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about the mental hospital that you ran. Did you find it very unclean and unsanitary?
Yeah.
And why is that?
Because people there could have gone to a funeral. I mean, it's a mental hospital. Hospitals are filled with sick people.
And what did the nurses or other clinicians do in the mental hospital to help ease that for you, to help you feel comfortable?
Not much.
Not much. And you said you weren't in this mental hospital too long. Do you know, like, a time frame, maybe 6 months to a year?
No. Not off the top of my head. I can't remember.
Okay. Does your anxiety about the germs kind of trigger you to block certain things out from your memory?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so far I have that you were in a mental institution or the hospital, and they really didn't do too much to help you feel more comfortable. Your husband seems to be a very big help, as well as your children. You have a pretty much a solid team behind you. They pretty much are very understanding, and I feel like they're helping you get there. Is that safe to say they're helping you along with the anxiety?
I guess.
Do you have any other things that are making you a little anxious at times?
It's mostly the funerals of my one friend. She came over, and we had the same handbag, and she got confused and picked up mine, and she'd been to a funeral recently or something, and my husband had to put it in the shed. It never has come up. I don't even go close to that shed.
Do you attend funerals yourself?
Oh, no, so many jobs now.
What about other public places? Do they make you feel as uncomfortable?
If anyone can go to funerals, then yeah.
So as a child, when you were interacting with other kids, was there something that happened that may have...
No, I don't remember it very much as a child. It's just gotten worse lately.
And do you feel like it has gotten worse because of maybe age or just the things that you're actually around every day?
I don't know. I mean, it could be the people that I'm around. I mean, when I was at work, there's tons of people coming in and out of the office, and you never know where they've been.
Okay. That's very understandable. Well, so far, I have that you haven't been working. What is preventing you? So the germs are preventing you from going back to work. Do you feel like there's any other options where you will be able to work, or do you feel like it'll be fine just where you are and how you are?
I'm
You're fine? I believe that our interview is up, and I just want to thank you for your time, and thank you for everything that you shared with me today. I really appreciate it, and I hope that maybe sometime next week we can kind of dig a little deeper into things. I hope that everything is clear to you, and I hope that it'll kind of make you think a little bit after you leave here, because you've taught me a lot today. So I just want to thank you again. And if you have any questions, just feel free to give me a call. I'm open anytime. And just want to see you later.